What's going on, everybody? Today we are continuing the Goldlewis matchup Bible, where I, alongside my sidekick Schwell, teach you how to beat every character with the one and only Goldlewis Dickinson. Let's get right into it. Round start is very important in a polarizing matchup such as Goldlewis versus Axel. If Axel wins, you can get shut out the entire time. If Goldlewis wins, then you can stay in and finish the round right there. Against 5P, you can use 2S. Against far slash, you can use 9JD. Against 2P, you can also use 9JD. And against up back, you can use 684H, and if they press a button, they will be counter hit. Next, we're going to talk about neutral in the matchup. Of course, this can be very daunting to get on Axel, but first let's break it down by normals. So we have our two grounded normals from Axel. Mostly you're going to be seeing 2H and 5P, both of which are going to control the ground. Next, we have our anti-airs. We have 2S and 6K. Both of these are going to cover the air from the ground. And finally, we have our aerial normal, JS. And this is going to cover the ground from the air. So how exactly are we playing neutral? If you guys watch the Ramothal video, you might understand that we have an RPS situation that Goldlewis kind of forces when he gets to this distance, where he can go for a JD or a 684. And this is pretty much what you're going to be doing in Sax. You're going to be playing very patiently, avoiding their stuff, and then getting to that range, and then picking an option and hoping things work out. So let's try to contextualize these normals into solid neutral game plans. First, call out the grounded pokes. We're going to be using jumps, most importantly super jumps, to build space. Even if we don't actually get in, once again, our ultimate goal is to get into that range to go for the JD. Of course, we also have our anti-airs, and to get rid of these, we're actually going to dash block. You can see right there, I just got really close, and after Axel whiffs that, I'm able to challenge with like a far slash, or once again, go for the JD or the 684. And the final option we have to look out for is the aerial normal, JS. This is very strong, but it does have a weakness. If you manage to get in close enough, then you can actually punish it with your 6P into 684. Go ahead and mash it, Schwell. There, I wasn't able to get close enough to get the 684, but if I'm a little closer, I actually do get it. Note that it is kind of difficult to dash block into this because very often they're going to go for JS into the 2H, so you kind of have to be ready to block low. Notice I was able to dash block in that time though.
All right, next we're going to be talking about the Axel special that you all know about. It is Rensen. Going to be talking about the three options. The first one being bomber, the second one being the fan, the pull, and the third one being the pull in. All right. First is Axel Bomber, and with this one specifically, you do not want to FD the full Rensen, but the Bomber alone. So if you're full screen, you find yourself blocking this, you want to be FDing the second half of it. And it will take much less meter, and you will avoid the chip. The other portion of it is that it will actually whiff if you are about 3/4 screen, and you can actually run forward at Axel. And next will be the pull. This is an option that Axel will tend to do if you're in more close range, but it does not have an upper hitbox. So you can jump over it and JD Axel. And this is a fat punish for Goldlewis and a hard knockdown. The final option we'll be going over is the aerial pull-in. This is an option that Axels will tend to use if they see you jumping. But if you air FD it, you will land faster and have plus frames. If they are pressing a button, you can press grab, and you will grab them before their button comes out. If they are backdashing or jumping and you 2P, you will catch them in their startup frames.
And for the final section, I'm going to put a lot of focus on how to play around your opponent's resources, as well as how to use your resources aggressively. So first, let's talk about playing against Axel's defensive options, which of course he doesn't have any, but there are system mechanics. So we have burst and YRC, and we have two main options to deal with both of these. First, number one, playing around burst, we can jump cancel off of our close slash or our 5K, both of which are going to straight up burst bait, not only on hit though, but also on block. Can you block this, Schwell? And that's a full punish. And also it's going to work the exact same way for YRC. My bad, I should have said that earlier for you. That's a punish. And I do need to say that another way to play around the YRC is just going behemoth into behemoth. So at no point can he go for YRC, and right there they tried to, and they got counter hit for it. Sorry about that, Schwell. Next, let's talk about how to use our resources aggressively. This is very important, particularly in a matchup where you can barely touch the character. Whenever you do actually hit this character, you need to make sure that you're using your RC to get in and stay in right there. Schwell tried to mash and got counter hit for it. We're staying in there, and that can be off any hit. It doesn't just have to be this, but it can also be at the end of a block string. So Schwell, can you just block low and hold it for a bit? Let's say I do an entire block string. I can RC to get back in and just continue that pressure. You need to make sure you're using your meter aggressively. And finally, you need to be using your burst aggressively. So let's say I finally got this Axel into the corner and I have burst, they have no resources. And you know, let's go through a fairly common situation where the opponent guesses right with 6P. I just got hit. You know, this Axel can now start pushing me back, making space and whatnot. But now let's go through the exact situation, but I use my burst aggressively. And immediately I'm right back in there. This Axel is blocking again. And now they have to guess right again. This is a very scary situation for a character like Axel that dies immediately and has no defensive options. And that's all we've got. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, and in the comments you should include which character you want to see next in the Goldlewis matchup Bible. That's all we got for this one. Thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye.
Till next time.